Now, just because they're not optimized though doesn't mean they won't be ranking though. Oddly enough, right? Like there could still be like that's why like a lot of people are like, hey man, like I've been working on my SEO for like 4 months. I'm following your course or whatever, and then there's this like little 1997 looking website still ranking on the first page, not optimized. It's like, yeah, I know. It just that's just how it works sometimes. Like they're just whatever. They have some crazy like strong backlink that they acquired from like their local Houston or whatever Chronicle. That's pushing them there, whether they're like doing some black hat stuff that you can't see, whatever. There still might be other reasons why another website outranks you. Welcome back to the Detailing Business Class podcast, where you'll learn proven tactics and strategies on sales, marketing, and operations to grow your business. I'm your host, Oscar Gill, and my goal is to elevate you as a detailer and business owner to the next level. Today's podcast is going to be marketing focused on how to generate more leads and sales in your business, specifically through SEO, search engine optimization. It might feel a little rushed, but there's a ton of great information in this episode. And if you want to see the entire framework of how we've been able to grow our business to $10,000 per month, then you can either click the link in the show notes or in the description box, or go to detailclass.com and sign up for the free training where I take you through the whole process of how I started my business, how I transformed my business from being a struggling detailer to a booked out detailer, and how we've been able to continue to grow our business, get more customers, hire a team, and basically learn the whole journey of growing our business. Again, you can go to detailclass.com or just click the link down in the show notes or in the description box. Let's go ahead and get started with this episode. And welcome back to today's podcast episode. We have Caesar and Justin in the house. And what we're going to do is we're going to do an SEO breakdown on Justin's website. Caesar's going to ask me a ton of questions along the way. And basically, I'm going to go through the process of how I would go about ranking a website. And just like the first audit that I look at, it's going to be very light, like kind of overview, just because we don't have enough time to do a full breakdown. But it's this podcast kind of to show how I look at a website to see if it's optimized, and then a high level overview of how I would audit a website, and then any feedback that Caesar wants, or any question that Caesar wants to specifically ask, he'll ask. And we have Justin here because we're going over his website, Prospero. What is it?
Prospero Creations.
ProsperoCreations.com, and I want to have him here. That way we can ask him questions. So I can keep on going along the process. So, all right. So first things first, right? So I'm gonna just lay down some groundwork real quick. So SEO is search engine optimization. That's when you rank your website on the first page of Google. We're now going into the spring rush for just about our industry. So our phone calls will probably hit 10 to 15, 20 calls per day, and around 10, 15 emails per day. All of our leads come through Google, search engine optimization, and then Google Ads. So that's how we're able to grow our business and pass $10,000 per month, and that's how we've been able to grow the past 3, 4, 5 years. So this thing of doing SEO on any website will generate organic leads, or if you're paying for ads, that's Google Ads, but that's still through Google, and you can still generate leads. So, all right, so we'll get started. So Caesar, on your part, if off the bat. You have any, so first let me set some context. Justin, what do you do? What do you do, and then what's your website? Like, what's up with your website?
So my background is I have a lot of experience in just marketing in general. But over the years, I've narrowed it down to about 3 things, being video production, web design, and social media management. My website is prosperocreations.com.
And you said web design and what? Video management?
Video production and social media management.
Those 3 things are within marketing.
Yes.
Okay, so you do social media. Okay, so are those like the 3 main services that you would offer? Because right now on your website, it's a 1-page website, right? So, so that's like, okay, go on. Yeah, what do you those are the main 3 things that you offer: web design, video production, and then social media.
That's correct. Web design is kind of my bread and butter, I guess you could say. Although I'm more passionate about video production. And then social media is something I can do, but it's not the bulk of what I do.
Okay, so one thing I would look at from the get-go, if I'm talking to someone like that, I would try to break down more granular what that means. So like video production if we go to the Google keyword planner, we can look at keywords, but within video production, what does that mean though? Because is that events, is that wedding, is that corporate, is that whatever? Because that's very important, because the more we can break that down, the more pages we'll create for each service depending on what you wanted to do. So video production is more like it's still like a bucket. It's like saying we offer detailing services. Okay, well, headlight, engine, paint corrections, ceramic coating, interior cleanings, engine bay detailing. Like what video production do you focus on?
I'd say there's at least 2 or 3 primary categories. The first one being commercial, whether that's an actual video commercial that would air on TV or be posted on a landing page or social media. The next would be essentially event style videos. I don't do weddings, but I have captured highlight reels that are usually optimized for social media. And beyond that, it just kind of depends. They're like random projects that I take on, but those are the main 2, both commercial and events.
Yeah, so on that one, I would get a lot more granular, because even though you like on SEO purposes, like the other one you said random, but that random has a big deal to it. So if you're saying, well, something that's taking weddings, okay, boom, that is an entirely different set of pages and keywords that would go after weddings, right? Yeah. Within the context of videography. But then at that point, it doesn't really make sense to have it on your website, because now it's like you're trying to do marketing, video production. If your bucket that you just said is marketing and you're talking about video production, and then from video production you go to, well, I do weddings too. Well, now it's kind of different. Now it's kind of weird to have weddings in your marketing, so to speak, sphere of your website, right? Yeah. Same thing I remember where we wanted to offer carpet cleaning services, like for home residential carpet cleaning. And it's like that wouldn't really make sense to add it to our detailing website, just because it's all detailing automotive focus, and to add a carpet cleaning doesn't really make sense. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I went to first thing I do that starts everything off is keyword research. I start very broad to see what keywords are there. So in the Google keywords planner, I'm looking at Houston video production, music video production Houston, video production company Houston. That's really about it. So let's type in marketing video production. I got marketing video, but not Houston though. Okay. Yeah, and the thing with keywords, with the volume, is that you're not necessarily ever looking for like this crazy, like, oh, this one has 7,000 searches per month. That doesn't happen in the local SEO space. Most of them are going to be like unless it's like HVAC, mechanics, something that's like very, very popular, those will pass 1,000 searches per month, like maybe 1,400 a month or 2,100 a month. But like marketing, video production, Instagram Reels, Houston, that's not going to have any search volume. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, because a few people, like the 1 or 2 people that search for it in Google, if you do come up, there's going to be no traffic, no competition, no nothing. And if you create that page, that's going to generate a lead. But most search volumes, you're not going to get a lot of like, oh, what, this one has 17,000. You're not getting that. That doesn't happen in the local space. Maybe lawyers, but that doesn't really happen. Okay, so now I'm going to jump to your website. So it's a 1-page website, so that's already bad. And we'll just keep it very blunt here, just because we have 20 minutes before we have to finish this this podcast. So right now your webpage has 310 words. So typically what I recommend is every webpage is going to be between 600 to 800 words per page. Off the bat, do you have any questions about anything?
I do.
And you just straight sniffed and straight into the...
Sorry, so I guess for your audit, because I see it through the lens of a website, web design first. Mm-hmm. First, you look at what do you look at first if you're looking at an audit?
Like first thing, like just to even, like if people are like, yeah, my website, I had an SEO guy do the website and it's already kind of optimized. The most basic, blatant things that I'll do is I'll go to, I'll go to Google and type in site.colon, using that, prosperocreations.com, and I just want to see how many pages are indexed.
Yeah.
So right now, since you only have one page, you only have one page index. So that's like a quick, like...
It's 100% index.
How many pages? Yeah. I want to see, okay, how many pages? If you have like, let's say 8 pages, I'll go to create site, colon, or whatever it's called, the website URL, and then I'll see which ones have been indexed. Right now, you only have one web page, so only one is indexed. But if you had like 17 pages and I do that and there's only 3 pages showing up, well, that only means only 3 of your 17 pages have an index. Already says, okay, none of your pages are even being found by Google. Next, another like super simple thing that I do is I simply just go and look at the easy things. So basically all the on-page stuff. your page titles, URLs, H1, H2s. That's it. I'm not gonna read the content. I'm not gonna do anything.
Do you have a quick, when you look at that, for instance, you hover over the tab, is there like a quick analysis that tells you this is a score of very low or a score of, you know what, this is probably already doing okay?
Do you use a plugin at all that rates that? Or is that?
I don't.
Okay, no. So
I'm saying like the eye test.
yeah, so eye test, yeah, basically is if it's because there's two levels to it. You can have an optimized, let's call it page title. You can have an optimized page title, right? That has the keyword, your primary keyword and the service area. So for instance, here it would be video production Houston, let's call it, right? So that's one way of being optimized, which is optimized. You have the city and the primary service keyword. But then the next level, which I look at, isn't a clickable, engaging, value-driven page title, right? So anyone can go into there and say, car detailing Austin,
Houston.
right?
Austin,
right?
yeah.
Now it's another thing to say, highly rated car detailing specialist in Austin, right? So they're both being optimized, but one is actually value-driven. That's actually going to get the person to click on that page title. So there's two levels that I look at. One, you just have your keywords, your page, your city, and your service. Second is it value driven? Is it actually compelling enough to be clicked on the first page amongst everyone else? So those are the two things that I look at.
I see.
So here that says Prospero Creations - video production and web design. That's not good because, and typically on any page titles, I don't care about putting the brand name in the page title because the main point of the page title is to get them to click in the page results. So I don't care about unless you have enough space to add your brand name and it makes there's enough space, sure. But if you can't put it, I don't care about it.
Yeah.
Until you're at that point where, but even then, it's just value driven. Get someone to click on that page. Next thing that I do is immediately look at the URL. So this one's an easy one. So I'll actually go to, maybe I should use another one. Do you have any URL in mind? He doesn't have any.
No, he's mine.
Oh, Symphony advertising. Okay, so on this one, this is now Caesar's website. We already switched it up a bit. Okay, so here we have. Okay, so if I go to for instance, yours. So on this one, what I would do is, for instance, you have symphonyadvertising.com /services/SEO. I would try to remove the services part and just go directly to the SEO. That's just because, if you look at the back end of an actual structure, it's like a folder to folder to folder. So the more of these that you have, it just
So technically,
the bot has to crawl a lot more to get to that page. So for one, I would remove the services part and then put SEO services Houston. So that's another one that I look at immediately is just the URL. So I'll actually just send that to you right now. So that's the easy given one, and I'll open up all the page titles. I'll open up all the pages and just look at the URL. I'll do it real quick. It might take me 10 minutes to open up all the pages, look at the page titles, the H1s, the H2s, the URL. Very easy to look at.
yeah. So you're seeing
It's a quick audit. Yeah. But it's pretty accurate though. It's it doesn't take much to be this is not an optimized site. Next thing that I'll quickly run through is, for instance, if we go back to Prospero, there's no since it's a one-page website, I can immediately know that there's not going to be any interlinking going on because there's only one site. So then if I go to your Symphony Advertising and I look around, and there's another app that another plugin on Chrome where you can click on the page and it'll immediately open up all internal links on that web page. I don't have it because I haven't used it in a while. But for you here, I see.
it's not gonna have it. It literally just went live last month.
Yeah. So that's another thing I would look at. I would open up all the pages and I would just look for links and seeing if they're interlinking to each other, because you never want any page to be on its own. Minus maybe the About Us page, the Contact Us page. Some of these not really important, but people will know where to find it if they need it kind of pages. Those can kind of stay on its own for a bit because you're not trying to optimize and rank those. But so that's like a 5-minute audit that I know for a fact. I can 98% confident say this is either a optimized or not optimized site. Now, just because they're not optimized though doesn't mean they won't be ranking though. Oddly enough, right? There could still be that's why a lot of people are hey man, I've been working on my SEO for 4 months. I'm following your course or whatever, and then there's this little 1997 looking website still ranking on the first page, not optimized. It's yeah, I know. It just that's just how it works sometimes. They're just whatever. They have some crazy strong backlink that they acquired from their local Houston or whatever Chronicle that's pushing them there. Whether they're doing some black hat stuff that you can't see, whatever. There still might be other reasons why another website outranks you. So that like literally 5 minutes to see. Now to actually create into an audit and like make it look out pretty, that takes a bit more time. But like a 5 minute eye test of is it optimized or not, super easy. Now depending on like for instance for you, right, for Justin, if you were to go down the video production route of like, hey, I do video production, and then at some point you say, and well, sometimes I do weddings and sometimes I do events. You said events, right? Mm-hmm. Any kind of events or like corporate events or like wedding or like what kind of events? I would imagine a wedding is an event.
Well, typically it's been church events or nonprofit events. So
okay,
it's a little bit of multiple things.
Yeah, so and at that point with the videos that you do though, is that still like, is it just like capturing the event itself, or is there like a goal behind it, like, hey, we want you to record this church thing because we're going to use this for commercial intent to run an ad or whatever?
Yeah, so typically I guess it still falls within the realm of marketing because they're using it on social media to prevent either the organization or the event itself.
Yeah, so on that one, again, those aren't going to have a lot of search volume at all. And a big thing about this is how much traffic you'll get or how many leads you'll generate is really based on location, right? Like if you're in Houston that has 3.4 million people versus, call it, I don't know, some just small little town with 50,000 people, there is a sheer volume difference between the two areas. Do you have any questions?
So in that case, so let's say Justin lived in rural Ohio or rural Montana. Let's not talk about Ohio. And he's like, I want to do SEO. Knowing that population or search volume has a big part of it, what is the suggestion there? Like, we can do it or you should do it, but if there's no crowd to sing to, no one's gonna hear you anyways.
Yeah. So on that one, I would.
Sorry, I'm sick.
So I would still 100% do it because you have to look at it like this. Like actually, and as a direct example, for us in the business, we have a smoke odor removal page, right? But if we go into Houston smoke odor removal to see how much search volume it gets in Houston, it has no search volume. Like there's no data on that keyword. But and it not that we get like a ton of leads from there, but when we get those leads, they're highly qualified. They are willing to pay a pretty penny, and we've booked $400, $800, $1,400 jobs with a service through Google that has no volume in there. So what I'm saying is that there's not enough volume in Google that's like triggering hey, there's 97 searches or 17 searches per month, but that doesn't mean no one is searching for it per month, and it's like. With me, it's one of those things where like everyone is gonna have that same notion of like, well, there's no searches, so I'm not gonna do SEO. So if you do it and those few handful of searches are there, you get those leads pretty easily, and you immediately rank that quick. Also on that note, again, it's like it's like if you look at it at a 1-to-1, meaning I only got one customer from there. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, let's call it you get one customer a month because there's little volume, there's no like you don't have 3 million people there, right? But that's on you as a business to say, okay, but have you fully optimized that one customer, that one lead? Did you get a review from them? Did you get a referral from them? Did you get before and after photos? Did you get did you book them in for another service? All right. So if you look at it as it's only one customer per month, but if you optimize your entire sales cycle to make sure you're getting the absolute most from that one lead, well, now it's a different topic, right? And now that compounds from what would be a $200 job compounds to another referral that's another $200, and then you book them in another 6 months later, whatever. So it's also on the business to capitalize on that one specific lead that happens. But on that same note, though, yes, like you can't compare a city that has 3 million versus a city that has 15,000. It's not gonna work.
So it's almost like the expectation is like, yes, you can rank, you'll be number one, but you'll probably get 2-3 leads a month versus if you are in a highly populated area that you can rank for, you can expect 15, 20.
Yeah, and it depends because, like, let's say if someone here in Houston, right, with 3 million, and then they go to Spring that has 50,000, that can also be a different thing because, like, technically they are in Spring, which is its own city, and that's its own thing, right? So, like, for instance, in the one that you just said, that example, it's like, well, is that like the only city around? Because that happens a lot with the students that are in my course. Or like, hey, like I'm in the city with 40,000, but then you drive up 30 minutes, you're at the main city that has 700,000 people. What do I do? And it's like, well, if you're mobile, now you're at the most advantageous spot that you can rank for multiple cities in your area because you go to them. So I would say you create service area pages to be able to reach all cities. So like our primary service is Houston, but we have a ton of different city pages to make sure we're getting everywhere around us. That's only because we're mobile though. If you have a physical location, you can't do that. Like you're stuck to that one area that you are.
So in this case, Justin would be mobile.
Well, that's a good question actually, because that's a good question. That's actually one I haven't thought about, because technically you are mobile because you go to them. So it would make you could kind of finesse it to say video production, Tomball, video production. Well, it depends actually. It depends on the kind, because if you are like a corporate event and you are gonna go and film an event for them, I think it's kind of known like I need someone to come to me. Versus if it's like hey, we need like. Yeah, actually, that's a good question. Yeah, you could kind of play both cards. You're probably getting into like the white to gray hat line on that part of how you finesse that angle, but you can kind of say you can finesse it to say video production. Now, I would go into the Google Keyword Plan and see if that's even getting volume though. Yeah. So I would verify inside Google Keyword Plan to say, is this actually something that people are searching for? Because if there's dead stop, no searches in Tomball, KD, Sugarland, I wouldn't even do it. I would just stick to Houston at that point, because no one knows, like no one's searching for mobile video production Houston, you know? So if they're not in there, I wouldn't do it. That's why I'm just verifying with the Google Keyword Planner on that one. What other question?
So on the specific service pages, what information is key?
Yeah, so on that one, so the on page is going to be your page title, your URL, your H1, your H2. So you need one H1. You need at least, I always say 2 to 4 H2s. You're going to want 600 to 800 words per page. The URL has to have the keyword and the city. It doesn't have to get too granular, for instance, some people are offering like wash and wax Los Angeles. Some people might put like I don't know. I've seen some not dumb ones, but it's like you don't need to put every single little word in.
Oh, like thing. Wash dash and dash wax dash Los,
you just need the main
dash.
Even that's
near.
fine. Yeah, but like it's when you're adding too much context into the URL because you're trying to like overly optimize it. That's when it gets too much. So on page, it's going to be your page title, your URL, and I'm going as I see the page, the H1, one H1, 2 to 4 H2s, and then again 5 to 800 words of content, and then interlinking across all different pages. And then you want to add reviews to each page if you can, contextually to the service that's on that page. So if you're on, for instance, like a local SEO page on yours, you'd want a review that says his local SEO services were the best. If we're on Prospero Creations and they're on the video production, you'd want a review with the video production. Ideally, if not, a review is still a review. Aside from that, that's like at the most basic level what I would look at for on page. I would make sure there's a call to action. Like that's a big one. Having multiple call to action buttons, whether it takes them to the contact page or it scrolls down to the page, that's actually a big one, because I even saw for sure a noticeable difference when we added all those call to action buttons on our website. There was a noticeable difference that more leads started to come in via email because the call to action was much easier on the page. So having a call to action button, making sure that the images are not being a distraction to the text. I mean, like on the hero section or anywhere else. Definitely not trying to make it look fancy either. You know how some people put like that scroll effects on there, where like, and then
parallax.
The parallax scroll, and like you can't see the text bar in front of it because the image is too white. Making sure basic stuff like that. If you haven't uploaded images yet, it would be smart to optimize them to alt text and all that. If they're already there and the file name isn't optimized, the alt text isn't optimized, I don't go back and try to fix it because it's not going to move the needle forward in terms of like getting it ranked. Any other questions?
Sure. So if it was like Justin is like, okay, Oscar, I offer these 3 things. I really want to do more web design. And you're like, okay, what would be like the game plan that he could go home with and be like, okay, what would be that formula for him to be like, okay, this is what I'll do, and then I should rank in X amount of time.
So for web design, so Houston web design. Okay, so that one has 1,600 searches per month. There's Houston web design for 1,600, web design Houston for 590, web design company Houston 390. There's website designer Houston for 320. So this is probably a pretty. So what I would do is I would go and look on the first page of Google. and I would see what they're doing. I would see how many pages they have. I want to see if they have any link backs to their websites. I would see how good of a brand is it, because a lot of these people, like, I'm not calling anyone out, but like a lot of people would be like HoustonCarDetailing.com, you know, like trying to over optimize everything just because they think, you know. So I would basically go through that whole audit on a website and see what they're doing. I would be pretty granular and see how many pages do they have. I want to see how many words they have. I want to see how much they're interlinking. I want to see if they have any backlinks by using some software to check it out. I want to see how many reviews they have. I want to see how what they're writing out on their page, how to see how engaging it is. And I would do like I would change the keywords up a bit, and I would just like write everything out. Like I would copy and paste the page title into a Google Sheet so I can see everything. And I would see, okay, what angle are they playing, and then what angle can I play? Then really like it's really doing what they're doing but better. And it's super basic, super simple, but that's how I would literally keep it. So I'm looking at a website. I'm not gonna say their name just because that's not fair. So I'm looking at one right now, and their stuff is optimized. Let's see here. So right now I'm just looking at how many words they have on their thing. 294. See, like that's kind of weak for me. They have 294 pages words on their web design Houston services page. So that already is like, okay, that's not much. They have Austin web design, they have Dallas web design, they have San Antonio web design. So so I'm gonna open up their pages and I'm gonna see professional. Okay, that's good. So let me highlight this and see how many words they have. Copy link to Houston. Word counter. This one has 316. So this one, as far as web goes, as content goes, it's actually not that much. So I would be questioning. Okay, maybe they're doing something else that is getting them on the first page. Because as far as content wise, it's not the most. And per what I see right here, right now, they're not interlinking all that much. Yeah, actually, not much actually. Yeah, so I would see so this one they don't have that much context on there. They don't have that many that many interlinkings. So I would look heavy into this one and say like, well, then what else is making them get on the first page of Google then for such a targeted keyword? Yeah.
So in that case, when you look at that professionally, what could you attribute? If not that, then what?
Typically either time, they've just been there for so long, and then two, without me running it through like software to see any backlinks, they probably have a heavy backlink somewhere. That, or again, like same thing of how they do it. Like maybe they have enough clients where one of those clients is like a pretty heavy website and is linking back to them. Aside from that, again, like maybe something that we don't see that's like black hat material, right? That you don't know that they're kind of just like, you know, finessing the system. And that's the thing. Like you can look at it, it's like broad. Like the best thing always for anyone that says like, hey, I've been doing this, I've been doing that, not getting results. This person over here is doing better, but their website's crap. The only thing you can do is optimize the best that you can across your entire page. Just put your best foot forward every single day with your website. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
You can't control how fast Google indexes your website. You can't control how fast they move your rankings or where you're placed. You can't control any of that. The only thing you can control is how well you optimize your website across the entire board. Are you interlinking everywhere? Are you creating, engaging, optimizing page titles and H1s and H2s? And are the images clear? Do you have call to action? Do you have a lot of reviews? Like you can't. You know, that's all that you can control 100% of that.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing that's like, if there's something missing, I'm like, well, you know, like optimize it. You know, like that's the best that you can do. It's 2:25, so I guess we'll stop right here. Well, you have to call it 2:30.
I do.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We gotta stop it.
No, we have. 3 minutes. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. You have any question, Justin?
Not that can be answered within 3 minutes.
Do you have any
Sorry.
questions?
Again. Short on time. Introductory video, I guess.
Oh, that's good right there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this was an intro podcast into SEO breakdown. We'll probably do another one in the future as well. Just because, I mean, everyone learned from this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.